Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to have your soul shine? It's time for the Girlfriend Hour. We're so happy to have you here, and we can't wait for you to meet our incredible guests. But first, please put your hands together for our wonderful host, the enigmatic Shar.
Welcome back to the Girlfriend Hour. Today's show comes unplugged from Thailand with my guest in Australia. Today, we're meeting Lara Portelli. Lara is a grounded, resilient, and dynamic speaker with a distinguished career spanning community health, welfare, and government sectors, including the Department of Foreign Affairs and the NDIS. She has built a strong reputation for leadership, adaptability, and a deep commitment to empowering others. As a successful business owner, NLP practitioner, qualified menopause coach, acclaimed award-winning co-author, and recently an author of her first of 5 books, Lara understands the challenges of navigating careers, business, and personal growth. She now channels her expertise into mentoring women through menopause and divorce and into their bodacious second act. Lara, welcome.
Thank you, Shar. Thank you.
Very excited to have you here, and you've got so many topics that I know will really resonate with our audience around the world today. Lara, let's jump in. I want to take you right back to your childhood. You had a very interesting childhood, and from a very young age, you had to pull up your big girl's panties and get on with it. Let our listeners know what happened.
Yes, a very good analogy there, Shar. I did have to pull up my big girl panties very early before I was a big girl, literally. So what happened in my family dynamic was my mum left our family when I was about the age of 3. And back in those days, which was around 1974, that wasn't really heard of, especially in our culture, our heritage, which is Maltese. And as you can imagine, it threw a big spanner in the works. And a lot happened in the years that ensued after that. But basically, from the age of 10, I lived with my mum and her partner for about 3 years. But from the age of 10, I then assumed the role of a grown-up woman in the house with my dad and 2 brothers. So I kept a home, for want of a better term. I literally kept a home. I was running a household as a 10-year-old girl in the heart of Queanbeyan, which is a town now. It was just a blot on the map back in those days, but it's a city there right on the border of New South Wales and ACT. So it was pretty unusual circumstances, A, that my mum left, and B, me keeping house, washing, cleaning, ironing, and all those major responsibilities at such a young age. So,
And you know, at 10 years old, Lara, that's when we should be playing dress up and playing with our dolls' houses and, you know, Barbie and Ken and riding around little plastic cars and having little tea parties. But you are actually doing this in real life for adults.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, real tea, making real cups of tea and cooking and ironing. Like, I don't think I could even probably see over the ironing board properly. So,
How did you cope? Like, how did you know what to do? You didn't have the best role model, yet you just stepped up and you had people that relied on you to get through their day. How did you cope mentally?
I don't know. If I look back now, I think I must have tapped into some inner intuition, like a woman. If I have to kind of reflect a bit now, it must have been a self-learning that I had to teach myself. I literally had to learn how to use a washing machine that broke down every other day. It was a twin tub back in those days, and it was freezing, like trying to do sheets. And in those days it was the machine in the middle, the spinner over here, the cold water over here. And I can remember distinctly being in about year 7 and pulling the machine out, water leaking out the bottom, and I'm fiddling with electrics at the back of the machine, trying to make it work. And my best friend was there going, "This isn't normal, Lara. This isn't what girls our age do. You're fiddling with a machine. It's dark out the back. It's cold. And now you've got to go and hang out copious amounts of washing." this isn't normal.
Yes.
But I didn't know what normal, it was my normal, right?
It was your normal. And, that's really interesting you say that, because I think society dictate what they expect our normal to be. And every one of us, if you're watching this right now, you may be seeing some examples to your own life, because maybe you have grown up unusually as a child. But does that make it unusual, or does it make it your normal, which makes it normal? There's no right or wrong. And Lara, when we talk about your book, which has just come out, Divorced at 50, now what? You faced a pretty major milestone. There was a part in your book as we dive through that really hit home for me. And I wonder if you could share the moment where it's called, Take Me to the Church on Time. You had a really pivotal moment that I think, I know for myself, I can't speak for everyone watching this now, but there are moments in my life that have stuck. It's as like time stood still. And the only thing I remember when I look back on my life is that distinct moment. I can hear everything, I can see everything, I can smell everything, I can touch the door. You had a moment like that when you were in the back of the car. Can you share that with us, please?
So, Take Me to the Church on Time, that chapter, I remember distinctly getting ready for my wedding day and hopping in the back of the car with my dad, and it was pouring rain. Maybe that was a sign in itself. I don't know. But I remember pulling up at the chapel, and it felt like I was cemented into that red leather seat of that car. But on the way, I do remember thinking, I don't think I want to do this. I don't think I want to do this. And I remember looking at my dad in the back seat, which I now know as well. I should have been beaming and joyful and jumping about and wow. But my dad's talking to the driver of the 56 Chevy, what it was, whatever it was about razor blades and men's talk. And I'm thinking to myself on the way, it's pouring. I'm not really feeling this. And in my gut, I think I knew it was right. I knew where I was heading wasn't right. But I remember pulling up outside the church and almost, what's the word the word I'm looking for is paralyzed. I felt paralyzed. I guess you can feel paralyzed in a good way, but this paralysis wasn't good. I leant to grab the chrome handle and I didn't want to get out. I just didn't want to get out. And where I'm going with that is the alarm bells were ringing and the gut instinct was kicking in there, and I didn't go with my gut. I
Mm.
went with what was expected of me, and I went ahead. I went ahead with that marriage, and what do? You've got 250 guests waiting inside a chapel. It's all been a big lead up and a lot of work to that day, and here's me, little old me in this car going, I don't think I want to do this.
My goodness. Well,
Mm,
I can only imagine it. I can feel your energy from here, and I can see you in the back of that car. And I've obviously read your book, and I teared up when I read that chapter, because I could see myself in a situation like that, where my hand just, it felt like your hand just was glued to the handle, and you didn't want to
mm,
lift it up because you knew on the other side of that door was the rest of your life, or so you thought.
mm.
And you mentioned just then about your intuition, your gut feeling, and you talk about that a little bit in this book. And I know that's something you're sharing more in your second book, Scars and All. And we have this internal GPS system. And I wonder if there's someone listening right now, maybe you're facing something, and internally that little voice is screaming louder and louder, and you know it's the wrong thing, or the wrong situation, or the wrong job, or the wrong marriage, or whatever it is. But for some reason, be it societal expectations or a commitment we may have made long ago that no longer serves us, or the courage, maybe there's some fear there. How did you eventually pluck up the courage? Because you were at 50 and you decided to walk away. Take us through that whole journey. What led to that? What you thought would be your forever after?
Yeah, something changed. It doesn't happen overnight. There's a lead up. And for me, my personal journey, I was fortunate enough to work in a role at one point where I got to witness how women can be treated in life, and that role taught me some self-respect and some self-awareness, and that what I saw happening at work wasn't happening in my own home. And when I hit the age of 50, something, I don't know if it's women's magic, I don't know if it's chemical. I'm not doing this anymore. It wasn't that I just did it overnight. I had given plenty of warning to my ex-husband. Things are not working. We need to work on this. Things need to change. But on that fateful day, whichever you like to call it, on the 15th of January 2022, that was the day. That was the day I just said, I'm not doing this anymore. I didn't know where I was heading. I didn't know. I literally left with the clothes on my back. I literally left with only the clothes on my back after 24 years. So from that day at the chapel, where my internal GPS, as Shar just mentioned, was screaming at me, and I went, no. And I put everyone else first most of my life. I still went on and did that for another 24 years to the 15th of January 2022, after being with someone as well. You know, I was with him for quite a while before we got married, for 24 years with that person. It took me nearly 25 years to go, no more.
That's a
And my poor
quarter
old,
of your century. Wow.
yeah. So that poor GPS system and that internal safety mechanism maybe had been, this isn't right, Lara. This isn't right, Lara. That day I decided to listen to her.
Yeah, and that's
Mm.
amazing. And it takes a lot of courage. You know, it's interesting, isn't it? As human beings, we are very complex beings. And, you know, men are complex in their own way, women are complex in their own way. You know, but when we look at a car, for example, and I'm obviously not a car person, I love jewelry, clearly, but cars not so much, except the look of them. But cars, you know, when a warning light comes on our car dash, even as a, you know, a jewelry loving woman, I take notice of that and I take it seriously. And the minute I hear that warning light and that bell go off in the car, be it low fuel, low tire pressure, windscreen water, whatever it is, I go and get it fixed. Why do you think it is that when our warning bell goes off inside us, our internal GPS system is screaming at us? Why is it, do you think, that it takes so long for us to do something about it, Lara?
Speaking from my own perspective, I had no sense of self. Part of
Mm,
my big epiphany and the journey that I went on after I left my toxic relationship was finding myself. I realized after I'd left that situation how much I didn't know myself, how much identity I didn't have, how much I'd been people pleasing, and people pleasing in the hope that someone would love me.
mm,
So for me, it was, if I keep giving, I keep giving, I keep giving, my parts of myself, my soul, my heart, will they love me? Will he continue to love me? And
mm,
that, I think you and I have talked about it, Shar, at length. This will do.
mm.
This will do. What happens when this will do? I'll take this because, and I know I did it. I put my hand up to that. My cousins were getting married around me. Everyone my age was getting married or having babies. And, I don't want to be left. I don't want to be the girl like at the dance that didn't get asked to dance, or this will do.
Mm,
Um, so for me, it was no sense of self. I literally had no sense of self growing up, giving, giving, giving. And
mm,
I look back now, and from learnings, I see that I didn't form my own needs or wants or identity. I was just so busy giving to everybody.
wow. And I'm sure there's people watching at home now nodding their head, going, that's me. That's me. And you know what? Lara and I want to give you permission that, one, you're not alone. Lara's here. She can guide you through this process of putting yourself first. And also knowing, I guess, the moment where we put a lid on it. We stop the giving and we learn to receive. Because, Lara, I'm sure now that you're out the other side, and we're going to talk about that in a moment, the giving and the receiving should be equal, like a seesaw, right? You can't be giving all the time. Your tank's so empty. You have to receive as well. And sometimes, for my personal story as well, where it was always about others and I was subservient as a good Indian girl, and I just went along with it, very similar to the Maltese culture. Just go along with what's asked of you. And at some point, there was a tipping point for me as well, where I had to stop and go, well, hang on, if I keep giving, when am I to receive? And
Mm.
I'm worthy of love and receiving friendships and equal respect. And so if you're watching this at home, I want you to know that there is a point that you are allowed to receive. And it makes us whole. How did you feel, Lara, when you started to put these boundaries up around you and receive? What happened? Look at the
A
smile
whole
on your face.
it's a bit hard to hide, right? The energy. Oh, it's a whole new world, literally like that song. It's a whole new world. Um, and sometimes even still today, I go, oh, is this me? It's hard to remember that woman that was that,
Wow.
yeah. And people in your life that come into your life are different, and they lift you up. The people around you lift you up because you seek people out that are of your same energy, that want you to shine and don't want to throw shade your way. Um, it's it's literally a feeling. Oh, what a feeling, right? And you draw people to you. It's yeah, but it's baby steps. I have to
Yes,
say, I've come a long way, and I don't have many bad days at all anymore.
yes,
And I have a very good mentor who speaks to me about bulletproof mindset. There might be a day where I get, oh, I'm tired, or bit flat, or do I have to do it today,
you're
or something.
human.
Ugh, I really just want to watch Netflix today. And I've also learned and been taught along the way that it's okay to do that for a day or
Yes,
so and go feel sorry for myself, or I feel tired, or I'm physically tired because I've been working hard at building my new life and building my business, and that's okay. But the secret is not to get stuck in that, falling back into that old mindset of, oh, I better give. What if they don't like me? It's okay if they don't like
yes,
me. I'm okay with people not liking me now. Whereas
yes.
Lara 10 years ago would have been, oh, why doesn't she like me? What have I done?
Mm,
Maybe I should give them some more. Maybe I should give them some more.
mm,
And don't get me wrong, it's baby steps. Like even now, if someone does not something nice for me or compliments me, even in my work, should I give? Should I give a gift? Should I?
mm.
And
Yeah,
sometimes
that's a good point. Yeah,
I get reminded. Sometimes you don't have to give. Sometimes
yes,
people are just giving you a compliment, or sometimes they're gaining from me and I'm gaining from them. There doesn't have to be Lara always giving. So it's a
yes.
daily learning. I don't always have to give. Sometimes I can just receive.
That's a really good point. And I hope, if you need to stop this and rewind it to hear what Lara said again, I think that's a really pivotal moment for you watching at home, is that when we have that lower self-esteem and self-respect from maybe a trauma as a child, even as an adult, or a relationship that's constantly chipped away at you for so many years that, your self-esteem and self-respect is gone, or lost, it's there. And it's really important that when someone does something nice, as human beings, and I can speak for myself here, and I know Lara's had moments like this as well, where we're deflected and someone said, oh, you look really nice today. And you go, oh, this old dress, I've had this for years. Oh, I bought it at an op shop. It doesn't matter if the dress was free, given to you, cost $10 million. We need to get better at not deflecting and letting that comment fly back to the person and justifying our purchase. There's one thing that we need to say, which I know you do with your clients, Lara, is you teach them to just say thank you and stop talking. And it's
Mm,
really hard, isn't it?
yeah, thank you. Stop.
Yeah,
Yeah. And the other one
exactly.
is stop saying sorry. I worked with a lady in the NDIS, and she said sorry constantly. And then one day I asked her, why are you sorry? what are you sorry about? Do you know what you're sorry for? She said, no. So I actually created a sorry jar, an S jar for her. Like some
Ah,
people have for their children, a swear jar. She had an S jar. And I said, every time you say sorry, you need to put something in it.
oh,
Whether it's 5 cents, whether it's a note to say I am worthy, I don't need to keep saying
wow.
I'm sorry, because women overuse sorry.
Yes,
What are you sorry?
they
When,
do.
when I stopped her in her track, I was helping her clean her bedroom out on the day to get some things ready for a garage sale. I said, "Why are you sorry? What are you sorry for?" She said, "I don't know."
Ah, that's it. And
Mm,
it's that habit because again, we feel like we've done something wrong, which will stem from, as you know, as an NLP practitioner as well, the 0 to 7, the formation years. If there's something that's happened there, they've had to apologize for, even though they know it wasn't their fault.
mm.
They now still say it as an adult because they think I'll just get in front of this. Oh, sorry for dinner being late. Sorry, I'm 4 minutes late. Sorry for it's okay. Lara, you have a moment in the book which again stopped me in my tracks, and we'll share the link to your website in this show as well, so people can grab a copy because it's a fantastic short read, but it's a fantastic read, and there's so many pivotal moments. But one of them was when you had to go to the church and confess, and you were sitting there going, "I haven't done anything," but it was expected of you. Take us through that.
Oh yes, as a young fourth class 10-year-old um, Catholic girl, you go to first reconciliation, first of many as your life goes on. For some people, I didn't as life went on, but I remember actually I'd been out fanging around on a motorbike with some friends that day, and I went through a barbed wire fence. Um, I've still got the scars on a motorbike and down a gully. So I was covered in scars and blood. And Mum came to get me to go to first reconciliation, and all Mum could do was go off her head at me because, look at you, you've got to go to the priest. You've got to present it to the priest. I said, well, I don't really care. But anyway, off I went, all blood and scars and scratches and bark off me everywhere. And I'm sitting there waiting to go into confessional. And as you learn at Catholic school, they prep you to go. It's all preparation. And I'm sitting there now, I don't know what to say to the dude. Like, I haven't done anything wrong other than fall off the bike. I'm not saying that because that was an accident. And even at that age, I knew that that was an accident. But here I am trying to justify, right, that I've
Oh,
got to tell him something that I haven't done. So I get penance. So I sat there swinging my legs on the pew as you do, waiting for my turn. It's like cattle, in, out, Lara, So, and I said, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. And this is my first reconciliation because when you've been a few times, you've got to tell them how long since your last one. Anyway, I said, this is my first one. And I swore at my mother. And he goes, okay, 10 Hail Marys, 10 Our Fathers. And I walked out and I just went, what is this? What is this? I lied. I lied to him so I can get through reconciliation, so I can do my first Holy Communion. Now I've got to kneel down, do 10 Hail Marys, 10 Our Fathers for something I didn't do, but my knees are sore because I came off a motorbike. Like, what's this about? So from there, it was just very disillusioned. Got back in the
that's
car with my
hilarious. At least when you go back next time, you can say, "Excuse me, Father, for I've sinned," because last week I lied to you.
got back in the car and Mum's, you're a bloody disgrace. Look at you, you've got bark off you everywhere. What are they going to think of? I don't care.
Yeah.
Um, but the rituals and then I don't think I actually went again until the night before we got married, my husband and I. And the priest, all he could say to us that night was, geez, you've got a rough looking crew for bridesmaids and groomsmen. And I haven't been since.
Wow.
So
Wow.
but the point of it is the
Mm.
things we do, right? The,
We say sorry too much. Yeah.
yeah.
Excusing yourself. Mm.
Excuse me, Father. Mum said, what did you tell him? I said, well, I swore at you. And she said, well, you didn't do that. I said, well, I can if you want.
They still have
So,
something for next week. Oh, that's too funny. And Lara, as a mentor now, so you've been involved in a co-authored book, which you were in New York. It was amazing. You've now
First
authored
time.
your first book. You've now authored your first book, which is just on Amazon at the moment. And you're sharing a lot in this book about your life, your story, your journey. And I know that you've had inquiries for people coming out of the woodwork silently into your messenger, asking you for tips, asking you for support, because they're in a place where they don't know how to move forward from. And you've been through it. And back then, you didn't really have any guidance. You just said enough was enough. 15th of January 2022, I'm drawing a line in the sand here and I'm declaring that's it, I'm done. And there was a whole process over the last few years, and you went through some dark times, which people can read about in your book. I want to go fast forward a little bit to the work you do now with others, from menopause coaching, because I think as a woman myself, similar age to you, that, you know, we change. Our whole body is literally going through a massive change right now. And our mindset shifts. And we also realize we're probably over the halfway mark. So we start to look at life differently. And we realize that, well, hang on, time's ticking away here. What am I doing? What impact am I making? And we start to question it. But finding the right mentor to work with, I wanted to ask you, what are some of the things that you love working with your clients around to help them go from where they are now? Because sometimes, like you were a few years ago, you can't see that there's a bright, happy, beautiful future with a gorgeous new man in your life and moved house and all the beautiful things that are coming your way because you've worked for them. You've done the work. What are some things that you could share with someone maybe watching at home right now who's back where you were? What are some tips you can give them?
Some tips I would give are slow. It's a slow, it can be a slow process, it can be a fast process, but the tip is to, if you're getting that inkling that I'm not happy, start to take the step forward, one step forward. A step today will be two steps tomorrow. I did a quick story on it this morning when I was out walking, actually. If it's no longer feeling good in your heart, whether it be, we talk about, my book there, Divorced at 50, F what now what? Shar and I have talked about this at length. It's not only divorcing sometimes a marriage, it can be a work situation that no longer serves you, a friendship, a work partnership. If you're not feeling it any longer, don't do what I did and ignore that inner GPS system. If you're in a dangerous situation where and violence is involved, reach out to someone where you can, maybe at work, get some help there. If you're just not knowing where to start, there's people like myself that can help you and help you put steps into place. Take the first step. There are people now that have been through it, know that we can talk about divorce. It's not a dirty word anymore. The statistics out there of women our age that are leaving. I looked up some ABS stats yesterday. It's pretty hectic out there. And menopause. There's people out there that are going through exactly the same thing that you're going through. If it's a case, as I just said, that safety is an issue, reach out to someone that can help you in the immediate. And then, if it's not safety, if you need someone to talk to for a little bit, there's people like myself out there to do that. There probably was when I was doing it, but I didn't know that. I wasn't enough prepared. Yeah.
And I don't know exactly. And it's great that you are putting yourself out there like this, because sometimes, watching this in the comfort of their home as they watch the Girlfriend Hour TV show, they feel safe in their home. They can reach you through laraportelli.com. They can go through your Facebook and find you and send a DM in Messenger. And I think what you provide, which is probably one of the reasons why I love what you do, and you provide that private ear. And it's like having a girlfriend that you've known your whole life that you may not even have met until right now, but that private ear, someone that when you go for a walk, Lara could be on the other end of a phone call talking you, and that could be your session. And it's
Absolutely.
being there in a way that they need it. And that's, one of the things that I feel has happened a lot over the last few years as we've all been through this pandemic, people have learnt to trust on strangers more than ever. It brought the world together. And it doesn't matter where you're watching this show. You could be in New York, you could be in Zimbabwe, you could be in Thailand, you could be anywhere. You can reach out to Lara and have her in your corner. And the reason I'm sort of endorsing Lara, I guess, is because I know how hard it is to go through a journey like this by yourself. And I've known Lara for 10 years and I've watched her go through all of this front row seat. And to see her to who she is now, to who she was even a couple of years ago, unrecognizable. And she's had people in her corner. And I believe everyone needs a mentor and a guide to walk forward with you because they've been there, they've done it, they've got the t-shirt, they've got the scars. And leads me to your second book, which I wanted to touch on as we wrap up today. You're in the process of writing Scars and All, Yet I'm Still Effing Beautiful. And I love the title because whether they're emotional or physical scars, each one of them matter. And sometimes the emotional scars carry more weight and a longer weight than the physical ones. Tell us a little bit about this exciting book that's launching in November.
Oh, I just, oh, I'm bursting. It's a book, as you were saying, a bit on the physical, a bit on the emotional, about women digging deep and again having that permission to talk about maybe what's happened to them along their way in life, their journey, and how maybe a physical scar can be connected to an emotional scar that comes up from childhood or and I want to say it's still in the making, but what makes me a little bit different is that I am real, REAL, and that the book, I'm getting to the book, but the my REAL versus what you see on social media's people's, highlight real, REEL. And I want the opportunity for people to say F you and your two fingers to the beauty standards that are out there. And who said what's normal? This is where this book was born. And working with who says what's beautiful, who says what's not, who says that you have to be 6 foot to be beautiful or whatever. And that's where this book was born. It was born out of women getting a voice and speaking their beauty on whatever might be, whatever's happening for their bodies. There's $1 trillion industries out there, being the beauty, the fitness industry. Don't get me wrong, we all take part in them every day. I wear makeup, I wear fitness gear too. But if you listen to too much of it or follow the wrong people, one of the biggest lessons I learned on my social media was unfollow the people that don't make me feel good. And the best thing I ever did. So I follow people that lift me up now and that make me feel good. And I listen to podcasts when I'm out walking that lift me up. And that's what got me thinking about the second book, Scars and All, and I'm Still Effing Beautiful, was about the people that lift you up and that make you feel beautiful. And beautiful is what you feel is beautiful, not on a billboard that is a size 6 bikini or, yeah. So I unfollowed people that made me feel less than. I followed people that make me feel more. And if I can keep doing this for every breath that I take for my time left here on this earth, then I've done my job. That's what I've been sent here for. I've learned.
I love that so much. And this book is just so exciting. And launching before Christmas, Lara, I think is a really smart idea for a book like this, because I found when I was a personal stylist a few lifetimes ago that it was the most stressful time for women because they had some form, everybody has something they don't like about their body. And no one else sees it but us. And so I would find I would get the most bookings with people leading up to Christmas because of society's expectations of what they should look like at the work Christmas party, at the family lunch, at the lunch with the in-laws and so on. And they were so nervous. And I think your book launching in November is going to come perfect time for people to buy as a gift for Christmas as well, and give it to a girlfriend who they know their girlfriends are gorgeous, yet the girlfriend has this image of, oh yes, but they're going to look at my double chin or this or that or this or that. And so your book's going to come out it's basically the way I see it, and I haven't read it because you haven't finished writing it yet, but from what I've seen to date, it's going to be that accepting all parts of us, scars and all. And I'm still beautiful because of all of those scars, not despite them. And I think that's a really critical point that you make. And I'm really excited for that. And I definitely want to have you back on the Girlfriend Hour TV show when Scars and All launches, because I think that would be a great follow-up interview to this one. Lara, as we wrap up today, what's a message that you'd like to share with one beautiful woman or man sitting at home right now watching this show? What would you like to say to them about how they feel about themselves or moving forward?
Be true to you. Love
Mm.
yourself. I came across a quote. Well, I wrote a quote recently before I did a keynote speech, and I haven't got it. I'm just going off memory here, but the day she found her voice was the day. No, let me get it right. The day she discovered her own voice was the day she never turned down the volume again. Something like that. Anyway, wasn't it, Shar? Something like that. Yeah,
Yes. We'll
yeah.
put it into the
Fi-
show notes. Very true.
Yes, yes. Find who you are. Discover your identity if you've lost it, or if you're still finding it. And sometimes you're still discovering it. If you've already got your identity and you're having fun discovering it, show up, show the world who you are. Um, Show parts of yourself to the world that you're more than 9 to 5. You're more than, someone's daughter, someone's mum, someone's work colleague. Be you. Enjoy every minute you have on this planet.
And never turn the volume down again, my friends.
Don't
Never.
turn the volume down. Turn it up.
Absolutely. And I used to say as well that if you're too bright for some people, just give them some sunglasses. It's not your
Yes.
job to turn your brightness down. It's their job to walk away if it's too much for them. But it's up to us to show up fully every day. And that's what the Girlfriend Hour has been about over the last few years, is giving you real people on the couch, having a chat about situations that all of us go through, so that you can realize you're not alone, my friend. You are one of us. We are one of you. And together we can just pick up and move on when you've got the right mentors in your corner. So to find Lara, visit laraportelli.com. We will pop that in the show notes. And Lara, we will definitely catch up with you again in November 2025 when your next book comes out, Scars and All. Thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you, Shar.